of tonight's ball game.
Just too many turnovers, Steve. 6 turnovers in a quarter is a lot of turnovers. And that's why the Hawks are behind as well.
Ubaka to Foreman. Larry Davison puts it on the floor. Shot clock down to 5. Davison, his way to hoop, his lefty is good. Didn't need the assistance of Glenn Saville, but he was right there if he did. Wollongong get the first score of the second quarter. Good signs for Wollongong fans. Grant turns the corner, loses the ball. Fall away jumper is good. Grant looking a little more aggressive tonight.
Well, he has that ability against the bigger guy to put the ball to the floor too. So he's mixing it up between the post play and on the perimeter.
Dribble hand off to Saville. Saville to Campbell. That's off the mark. Tip right back to Matt Campbell.
Matty could have had 15 points by now. He's getting those open looks.
Saville from outside the three-point line. It's an air ball.
They're taking, that was a tough shot. You know, Glenn coming off the old ball wasn't really open. Ubaka looked like he did get pushed out of court, but smart little play by Luke Martin, boxing him out under.
He rode him out of bounds. That's how you're taught to screen out as a little guy.
Exactly. Well, you know, Luke's the best. He's played a lot of games now, so he knows what to do.
And Lute Olson was my coach at the University of Iowa, and he said, look, on a switch, you got a big guy and a shot goes up, I don't mind seeing 1 or 2 fouls of you riding a big guy out of bounds. I'll live with that.
Gordy looks like he's animated at the bench, and he's just up. I'm looking at the bench. I want to see where the enthusiasm. Someone's got to step up for the Hawks and give us some energy. The kids have brought the energy, and they want to be out there tonight. Yeah,
well, the Hawks are enthusiastic on the inside because their outside is not showing that. Down by 11 here in the early stages. And you just don't have what the Hawks had in the past. The team was scared to death to come in here. Even when Wollongong wasn't dominant, this was a place that teams didn't get many wins.
That's true, Steve. They struggled this year, that's for sure.
Martin to Bose. A long three. It's off the back of the iron. Larry Davison pulls it in.
Now, that's the one he should move on. The guy's right there with a hand in his face. If he knocks that down, he's saying it's a tough shot.
Ubaka. Goes at Martin. Goes at him again. Shot clock down to 5. Gets to the rim, and he's fouled.
I tell you something I like about the kids. Anyone going to the paint, they're getting hit. And it's not surprising with Shane coaching them. That'd be coming from the coach. No, anyone gets in that paint, make sure they earn it.
Can you imagine the first couple of days of practice when somebody just moseyed through the middle of the lane and got a score and didn't get popped?
Well, I've got to tell you, Steve, I'll let you add a little secret. I used to call that Blood Alley, and I liked it when it was painted red.
Yeah. So when the guy started bleeding, they couldn't tell.
Can't let him score in there, Steve. It's a mentality.
Yeah, there were a few guys didn't mind dishing out a couple of professional fouls that were wearing the Hawks uniforms when you were coaching.
Yeah, true. I was thinking more playing days.
Okay. I didn't want to go there. Yeah, I played against you. How can I forget?
But yeah, you're right. We didn't like guys scoring in the paint when I was a coach as well.
I used to try and get in and out of there as quickly as possible. Bose creates some space on Foreman. Throws it right to Ubaka. He just gave a dirty look.
He looks across at Shane. You don't want to look across at Shane when you turn the ball over. It's not like that.
Real soft turnover like that as Larry Davison gets the jump hook.
One of the things talking to Shane before the game too, he felt turnovers was major against the loss against Gold Coast, and the big thing was the Kings broke the record in free throw shooting, 5 of 20, and they only lose by 7. They do one of those things better, they probably would have had a win.
Cooper pull-up jump shots off the mark.
You're going to give him a shot
behind the screen on that.
Well, you've got to be able to put the ball in the hole, and he needs to knock one down, or they're going to be doing it all night. And that's what you get at the other end.
Larry Davison just naked at the three-point line. One of the best three-point shooting big men in the competition. And Wollongong have run off the last 6. It's been a game of momentum swings by both clubs. Imagine on a pin down from Edie.
He's built it big time. As you do, he's caught on that pick. So we're going to throw him in, hands in the air. Let's have a look. And he's called for a block. But that's, again, that's veteran play by Ubaka. You see that. You watch, Steve. He just walks into the screen and throws his hands in the air because he knows he ain't going to get through. Hopefully the boys will show it. But I'm not sure about this call either.
And we'll stick with the live action for now. But the Hawks have inched themselves back. As I mentioned, they've scored the last 6.
And good move to show a zone straight away. Good change-up defense. Let's see what happens, though. Oh.
Ubaka comes up short and bounces over the wrong side of the backboard.
You don't want to see guys like that wide open. They've dodged a bullet there, but again, you can say it's worked for them, that little change-up in the defense. And I'm sure Ubaka's eyes lit up. Couldn't believe how open he was.
Johns to Magin. Magin finds Alex Johns, and he just looks more confident. He's got a different role.
Well, Larry Davison, guys penetrating the paint, just dropped too far off him. That's too easy. Credit to him for knocking down the shot, but I'm looking at the defensive end, Steve. It's soft defense.
Saville comes up short. That goes to Johns.
And this is what Johns is a pretty good rebounder, Steve. Alex Johns out. He's from down south here in Nowra. I had my eye on him years ago.
Cooper to Grant. He throws it up in the air like a pass to himself, and he gets fouled by Larry Davison. That was a tough pass for him to catch on the move.
Well, Larry probably should have fell down. He would have drew the charge, but he stood there and there's no call.
Oh, he definitely got hit hard enough. If he was outside of the circle.
The Hawks have got a rebound. How can he get his own shot in that situation? The Hawks definitely are struggling on a rebounding end. It's been a struggle all year. When a shot goes up, there's usually only one guy at the board. You usually want 2 or 3.
And even after a bit of a scoring drought, a couple of loose turnovers by Sydney, they've been able to maintain this 8-point lead, possibly 9.
Well, again, Ande, Ubaka's back out, and Reece Martin's back in. I still a little surprised we're not seeing more of those 2-point guard role.
Saville skips it to Campbell, extra passing. Sydney do a good job of addressing the shooters on the 3-point line. Saville skips it over to Reece Martin for 3. It's short, and Grant pulls down the board. Sydney have already made more free throws tonight than they did on the Gold Coast last week. Grant for the jam. On a nice dish from Luke Martin.
Nice on ball screen on the run. Really caught the Hawks defense off guard. Oh.
Matt Campbell. Cross-court pass to Saville. And it squirts out of bounds. Sydney Kings on a 6-0 run, 31-20.
Things to do before summer ends. Go to the beach. Go for a surf. Build a sand. I have no idea what that is. Go to Hungry Jack's. Play cricket. Watch cricket. Listen to crickets. Take your dog to the park. Go to an outdoor concert. Go to Hungry Jack's. Climb a tree. Fall in love. Ride a horse to Hungry Jack's. Come into Hungry Jack's for a summer value meal and get a Whopper Junior, small fries and small frozen Coke for just $3.95. Available all day, every day. Hungry Jack's makes it better.
Welcome back, Ayinde Ubaka. If he goes well, the Hawks go well. I spoke to Shane Heal before the game, how he was going to try and slow that man down.
Yeah, we're going to make him take tough shots. I mean, he's really done a good job of getting in the basket. He's taking 6 or 7 free throws a game, distributes to his teammates. So we have to carry a hand, make him take threes. And I think if we can do that, it's going to stop guys like Oscar Foreman and Matt Campbell and Saville getting into the game.
Oh, Brendan, you know all about that. When you played against Shane Heal, he dropped 52 on you in Sydney, and then you had to make some adjustments when they came back here to play.
Yeah, I do remember that, Steve, and that was Brett Brown. You know, he brought in a new structure, and we hadn't seen it before. And after Shane got 52, believe me, I was watching the video for 3 days. and Brett actually mentioned that to me. I caught up with him, that I was the first guy to defend his structure a certain way, and we turned it around, Steve, and beat him by 30 points.
How many did Hammer have?
Yeah, he was in his 20s, but it was a low percentage. And I'll tell you something. I ripped into my guys when he had 52, and Matt Campbell said he only had 28 on me. And I looked at him, I said, are you kidding me?
Reese Barnes with the floater. He would have said that, too.
Well, he needed to think before. It wasn't a real smart thing to say.
Tyson Demos into the game for Wollongong. He's the nuts and bolts man for them. Bring him in to give him some energy and some physical plays. Tenacious defender.
Probably should have came in a little bit earlier in the game.
Yeah, especially since they look flat.
They're down on energy. He brings energy, he brings youth. You know, that's what the Hawks need.
Bose, it'll count if it goes. No, it's on the sideline.
The referee says that the big foul 13 for
And I think Sav said he had Shane scored 16 on him, so that was that 34, 44. I'm trying to remember who got the other 8 on him. I did try 3 or 4 players on Shane that night.
Yeah, you do when a guy's that hot. You know, and Cam Tragar leads the league in scoring, a bit over 17. You just don't see nights like that anymore. I know there's 8 minutes less than when those guys are dropping big numbers like that, but you know, in theory, you should be seeing 40 as Luke Martin just turns the Jets on and turns the corner, takes Sydney up by 11.
Well, Shane was a pretty special player, Steve, you know.
Oh, he sure was. Nice block shot. Cooper gets to the middle and finds Bose. He's grabbed by Reese Martin. Bose, man, he didn't make it. He is strong.
Well, this is an interesting lineup the Hawks have got out the floor right now. Now they've got 3 small guards. And I classify Conrad as a guard. So they didn't know who was guarding who down on that last play. When you look at it, they were totally confused about who should pick up who. So Gordy's probably going to try and address that in the timeout, but they're all over the shop.
Yeah, well, the Sydney Kings have had, this is their 3rd week with Coach Shane Heal, in the 3rd round anyway, the beginning of it tonight. And Shane in training is, well, Shane anytime is intense, but some of the players, I believe it was Julian Kazoo said, this is the hardest that he has ever trained in his career. Really? With Shane Heal.
Wow. I reckon Shane would be going easy on him at this stage too, just trying to feel his way. So, yeah, interesting.
Well, every time I speak to Shane, he's saying, I took the guys pretty hard, so I'm giving them a day off. So Shane Heal in that 3rd week. The first week against Townsville, they get the win and then dropped one that they believe they should have won. Had a couple of calls, didn't go their way against the Melbourne Tigers in Sydney, but Melbourne came out and played a pretty tough game to get that win over Sydney in Shane's 2nd week, and then in the 3rd week, last week going down to the Gold Coast.
Well, he's doing a good job with it right now. Some of the structure they're running, you know, is effective, and it suits the strengths of the players. And he looks pretty pumped on the sideline. You know, he's got a point to prove. I think he's enjoying backup being on the sideline. And they've come out and had a red-hot go. So the Hawks have got some work to do. I can't believe they're only 22 without a Julian Kazoo out there. They don't have that major shot blocking out there to intimidate, although Grant's pretty good, but still, the Hawks are really down on their level of play right now.
Well, Kazoo and Grant are 1-2 in block shots in the league. Back on a backdoor cut over the top, and Jerry Grant made the adjustment, saw him coming. He had to get that one up quick.
Well, good play because your backer was denied the ball, and you want to open up the fairway. He's denied, so he can back cut. But it's at the defensive end too. The Hawks are struggling on the defensive end.
Imagine hasn't got one off in a while. Shot clock down to 5.
That's too easy. And then you get an wide open look.
Luke Cooper with a wide open look, as you mentioned, Brendan, and he knocks it down.
Well, they're getting into the paint way too easy. That's a bad turnover.
Reese Martin trying to split the double team.
Steve, Reese Martin's confidence looks like it's way down. There's another turnover, as I say it.
Wollongong rattled. Imagine with the 3 after the behind the back pass.
Wow, that's would have been a backbreaker. I don't know how many timeouts scored he's got, but
he needs one now.
They need some composure right now.
Oscar Foreman is fouled by Grant. Probably let him off the hook. That was a really odd-looking shot by Oscar Foreman.
Well, it was a shot of hope. There was no fluency in that at all, so referees bailed him out.
Looked like one of those shots when you go to elevate and nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the body language, Steve. You know, you've been around. The cohesion of the Hawks. I'm looking at Reese Martin. I'm looking. There's guys out here playing. We've got Tyson Demos, Reese Martin, Ubeka. I don't know how often those three have played together. So they're really doing some. You know, got a lineup that I guess they haven't played with too much. So I'm not surprised to see there's a deficit here still.
Martin to Grant. Oscar Foreman fouls him enough for Grant not to get the jam. But Sydney looks sharp.
Well, they're just spreading the floor, and they're getting into the paint really easily. And the rotations are slow on the Hawks, and yet they had a small lineup. And Reese Martin's coming out of the game now. He's had a couple of turnovers. He's not having the greatest of games.
He just looks like he's lacking confidence. And this is a guy that was given the responsibility of he was handed the team over from Taiwan McKee in Wollongong's run to the championship when they lost to Perth in 3 games in the finals. So he is quite capable.
Well, he's had a huge opportunity this year for a guy to be handed the team, and he had the opportunity to really run the team and be at the point. And I just wonder if bringing Ubeka in, you think they'd be better, but his confidence may have dropped from Ubeka being involved, you know. But at the end of the day, the Hawks needed to do something. And I still think Ubeka is a great addition to their team.
Demos with a nice feed to Tim Conrad.
Really nice pass by Tyson Demos then.
You see that theory. I mean, the Gold Coast felt like they needed a little extra punch in the backcourt when they picked up Adrice De Leon, and Adam Gibson has flourished with the addition of him. Martin at the three-point line may have traveled.
Yeah, he did.
Grant is knocking down that medium-range jump shot as the Kings continue to power over the 50% mark at 55.
They're having trouble against the press. They've got to attack that now. They're not playing with any aggression. Once they pull that out, you should be attacking it. At the same time, Steve, it's really interesting. They seem tentative, Hawks.
Conrad looking for Oscar Foreman. Spread the floor nice, Wollongong, and it results in a layup that time. Martin spins, gets all the way to the rim, misses the layup. Fortunate for Wollongong on that roll. Ubeka with the floater, that's off the mark. Loose ball goes to Magin. He slows it down. Sydney will be looking to get 2 for 1.
With that floater, Grant help. Oscar Foreman should have got that offensive rebound, but he really didn't compete hard enough to get it. Don't hold. Oh, dodged the bullet there.
Cooper standing on the three-point line. That's good.
Now, we said they'll go underneath him all night, but he made a 3. So when a guy makes a 3, then you've got to get a hand up at the next one. So he's feeling confident now. The Sydney Kings are looking good, Steve.
They sure are. Ubaka is double team. Conrad, extra pass goes to Matt Campbell, which comes up short. It wouldn't have counted even if it gone. The buzzer had sounded. Sydney Kings are rolling along at 50.